Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on mysterious and weird true stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Case file number 176, written by Snug666. Dishes, dishes, dishes. Now they're all clean. But that's not possible. This happened a few days ago. I decided to wait to post about it until he got home, for my safety, and to make sure I had a chance to talk to him first. I am an only child and I live at home with my parents. My mom is currently in a different state for work and has been for 10 weeks. On Friday at around 5 a.m., my dad left to go to his friend's house in New Hampshire to golf, and he got back Sunday afternoon. My dad and I share chores around the house while my mom is gone, and I am extremely weird with touching wet food or just old food in general. So my dad always rinses the dishes and then runs the dishwasher, and all I have to do is put them away. Our dishwasher automatically opens when it's finished cleaning. That's how I know when they're ready to be put away. He left for New Hampshire Friday morning before I woke up. I was upstairs doing homework and watching Netflix basically all morning until I went down to eat lunch before work. I made myself one of those microwave mac and cheese cup things and went into the silverware drawer to get a fork and noticed there was barely any in there. We have big forks and little forks, and I prefer the big ones, but there was only the little ones in there. I looked in the dishwasher, which was closed, meaning it was empty, but I checked just in case it was closed by accident, and there was nothing in there. I remember being super confused because the sink was empty and so was the dishwasher, so I had no clue where all the dishes and silverware were. I decided to just ask my dad later when he called to check in on me, as he always does when he's away, and just grabbed one of those forks from the drawers and ate my mac and cheese. After I got home from work, I made myself some pasta for dinner. Don't flame me for only eating pasta all day, I'm lazy, okay? When I finished, I walked over to the drawer and got annoyed when I remembered there was only little forks in there. I turned around to grab my phone to call my dad and ask him where everything was, since he hadn't called me yet, and when I did, the dishwasher caught my eye. It was open. I looked inside and it was full of clean dishes. They were all big forks, all the dishes I had used recently, everything. I was freaking terrified. I don't know why it scared me so bad, but it did. I grabbed my pasta, my phone, and a fork as fast as I could out of the dishwasher and bolted up the stairs to my room. I immediately called my dad and told him what happened and asked when he did the dishes last. He said he did them that morning before he left for New Hampshire. I asked if he came home at all. He said no. I'm literally 100% positive that the dishwasher was empty when I made the mac and cheese earlier that day. I wasn't half asleep, I wasn't under the influence of anything, I wasn't imagining it. Nothing. As I said before, I am an only child. My mom is on the other side of the country, and my dad was 3 hours away by the time I even woke up that day. No one has keys to my house but us. Then I was trying to think of anything I could to explain it. I was like, did someone break in, do my dishes, take nothing, then leave? Do I have a second dishwasher I never noticed till now, and I got them mixed up? Did I fall asleep and sleepwalk and do my dishes that way? The part that scares me the most is the fact that the dishes weren't in the sink either the first time. They literally just were nowhere. Where were they? Case notes, file number 176. If I'm understanding correctly, this is a case of disappearing object phenomena, but with quite a few objects indeed vanishing. Your dad said he did the dishes that same morning before he left, so they were all in the dishwasher. Or rather, they were indexed to be in the dishwasher on the universe server. Then you woke up, made mac and cheese, and checked out the dishwasher for a big fork. But no dishes were there, or in the sink at all, as you said. Only they were there. They were supposed to be. They just didn't load in. Maybe the universe's code uses a predictive algorithm, like in video games, to load assets it thinks it'll need and not render the rest. You were supposed to see the dishwasher closed and think it was empty, but you checked too quickly for the universe's server to load those assets in from a spontaneous action. Then later on, it did load them in, and voila, clean dishes. Courtesy of your dad and a slow computer server. The freaky thing is just how much sense this makes, at least in my head. Case file number 177, written by Impossible Living96. An abandoned hospital with a lesson strongly learned. I was a dumb as hell kid. I did a lot of ridiculous crap. But this encounter, just let me tell you, I learned my lesson about breaking into places that really should be left alone. It was the middle of the summer. Me and my friends sat on a wooden fence smoking cigarettes, thinking about what the hell to do with ourselves. One of my friends suggested an abandoned hospital up the road from my house. We were unsure at first, as we'd heard a lot of stories from people who had previously went years ago, before it was boarded up again. After much discussion, we went. It was still boarded up with wood nailed to the windows. The doors were sealed shut, so there was no way we could have gotten in that way. We were going to walk away and just go home, but luckily, I remembered I had something at home that I could get the boards off with. As we climbed through the window, we finally got in. It was like going through a time warp. The place wasn't heavily damaged, and the interior looked like it was from the 60s or 70s. There were stale, bloody towels there too. It was eerie as hell. Anyways, we fooled around and freaked each other out for a few hours until we had to go. Before we left, we messed around with a fire extinguisher that had been left there. While everyone was in the center of the hospital, I stepped out for a breather in the hallway, with the same window we entered through. I was at the bottom of the hallway, and I saw a pale, slender figure in a blue hospital gown climb out of the window while looking at me. He looked tired and sick. I froze and screamed. I left as soon as it appeared. I will never forget how freaky it was. Case notes, file number 177. So that this figure was climbing out, not in, is a very interesting detail. Generally, spirits appear to be bound to areas that strongly impacted their lives. But the question is this a hard-coded rule, or more of a guideline or emotional tether? Not a actual rule of the universe, it's just something that they want to do generally. I'd guess that as spirits get older, process their fate and history more, they'd begin to wander further and further from their originating area. Makes me wonder if others in the town you lived in saw this figure too. I'd bet they have, and not just in that hospital. If you enjoyed these stories, give the video a like.